Udaan, flight, my journey, my life. I'm Navina Jafa. I bring to you a production, Udaan, flight. But how could that Udaan be without not comprehending the idea of dance? My language to write, my flight. It all began when I returned as a child from the West Indies. And Amma, my mother, took me to my Nani's house, which was in Lakhimpur Kheri. Little did I know that the time spent would be in an institute of run by an iconic musicologist, Thakur Jaidev Singh, Sangeet Vidyalaya. Nani ji took me there and I was introduced to two fascinating people who came all the way and had migrated to UP, to Lakhimpur Kheri from Rajasthan, Churu district. All their families were hereditary dancers and musicians. My dance teacher was Ratan Lalji, who had come as a child to learn from Maharaj Vindadinji in Lucknow. And the other one was a tabla player, Ganga Prasad ji. I had so much of energy. Nani ji would say, Sanskrit paro, dance bhi karo, do the tabla, and also learn the music. My father was in the services. We came to live in Delhi, and the first exposure to the world of stories, romance, dance was in this ethereal production, Roopmati Baz Bahadur, where Tirat Ajmani was Baz Bahadur and Bharti Gupta ji, Bharti Didi as we knew her, was Roopmati. I entered into the world of so much of fairies and imagination, and I insisted, Amma, that I must go to learn Kathak from this great master, Pandit Birju Maharaji. Amma was interested that I should learn Bharatnatyam because right next to us were two famous people. On one side of our house was Dr. Kapila Vatsyan, and on the other side behind our house was the great Bharatnatyam dancer Yamini Krishnamurti. I insisted that I want to learn Kathak because I identify with the language, Hindi. Amma taught me how to ride DTC buses. So at the age of 10, in 1976, along with my other Guru Behens, Malti Shyam, there was Madhumita Roy, and later came little Rani and Madan Solanki. And we were all a part of Guru Reva Vidyarthi. Guru Reva Vidyarthi had her training like Kapilaji with Achan Maharaji and was also educated by Shambhu Maharaji. That is when I realized that Kathak is so much about stillness. Kathak is so much about the line. Kathak is so much about thought. The idea of standing and performing with dignity. The idea of stillness and expansion from Bindu to Akash. When I entered college, St. Stephen's College, but before that, I had my first encounter with Maharaji on a personal level. We would perform in his holy Dhuma Chaure. We would be shoved down like little children wearing little lehengas, going to do a harvesting song, coming back. And later on, I remember on a Sunday when we were going for Hori Dhuma Chaure, some boys followed me in the bus. And I ran to Maharaji, who was standing beside his Fiat DHC 1082, that was his light blue Fiat, caught hold of his pajamas and I said, Maharaji, bachao mujhe, ye gunde hain. Maharaji said, he was always so scared, you know. He said, you've come to me? I said, हाँ Maharaji, bachaiye. He said, Amma, abhe, kaun hai? He never moved, but that was my first encounter with this great master, larger than life. Later I went to study with Guru Munna Shukla ji for a brief period and then came to Maharaji. And that's when the synergy of my education of English education, English literature in St. Stephen's College, and the romantics like uh, great poets like Keats and Yeats on one side, my mother, who was a great writer, introducing me to Maithili Sharan Gupta, Jaishankar Prasad ji, and even my father introducing me to Urdu poetry because he was from Badaयूं, and Firak Gorakhpuri coming to our home. It was such an energized way of entering the field of Indian culture. Kapilaji teaching me how to look at a Shal Bhanjika Devangna, how to understand miniature paintings, how to get into the world of Geet Govind. And there was Amma telling me stories about children. I found a synergy of the way Maharaji was teaching and what Kapilaji was teaching. I would go for a walk with Kapilaji and she would teach me, oh, see that tree, it has a whole world. The ants, the beetles, the little insects, the leaves, the roots, and so much more. And Maharaji would sit with us on a rainy morning and say, look at the dance of the ants. Takadimi takita, takadimi takita, takadimi takita dha, takita dha, takita dha. चींटियां हैं, चींटियों की रफ्तार है. I remembered Kabir saying कि साहब बहरा नहीं है, वो तो चींटियों की नूपुर. He listens to the feet, the dancing bells on the feet of ants. The shades came together. Birju Maharaji's art is a science. Every line that he has taught us is about mapping space, coloring it, aligning it, working on what Kapilaji taught us, the skeletal form of human beings, the bone, the nerves, the muscles, and the alignment of lines that you see in paintings, and the way you stand, the way you create your footwork, the weight, the way you position your feet, the way you diagnose the designs of rhythm. From there I went into research. Performance doesn't really mean that you have to be constantly on stage. It was an Udaan. It was an evolution. And that was a journey which was so fantastic. Maharaji, whatever he taught us was with so much of precision, it can never be old. It's always contemporary. The more you reflect, the more you get into the Atma of Kathak. I went into research, studied more than 40 books written by Wajid Ali Shah, Chakradhar Maharaj, and saw a whole world of Kathak opening which was untold. Rampur, Banaras, Raigad, Lakhimpur, Sitapur, Lucknow, Bikaner. There was so much more layering. I remember my other teacher, Dr. Anand Krishanji, talking about Kathak footwork and comparing it with Tappa, and then comparing it with the Jamawar weave of Banaras. It was flight. It was an Udaan. My production, Udaan, the great flight.